I'll call for apologies. Apologies, thank you very much. I'll do condolences before we do anything else. Just like for everyone to stand, mate, respect for the members of the Maniototo who have passed, and Jean Spooner, Audrey Johnson, Jennifer Smith, and Dawn Becker. Thank you very much. Public forum. Is it Meg Gar?
Yeah. Hello.
Just come and sit up here.
And I'm Ali
Campbell, right? Yes.
The port
Thank you.
and committee member of NASB Mission.
Right. All yours.
Okay, great. We're here today because we are, one of our projects is trying to design a information map on what NASB has to offer, and the whole reasoning is behind it is many times we watch visitors come in, park up, look around, do a U-turn, go to the toilet and head back out. And basically we think this information map will be helpful for people to understand what NASB has. So we, yeah,
you know, we've come across many people that just don't know where things are, and they bypass. Google takes you up to the camp and bypasses the town, and we just think that NASB's got a lot to offer, and we'd like it more visible. Why we'd like to put a notice map up. Yeah. The information we want.
Hazel Harrison has a lot of that in the Visitor Information Centre there.
Yes.
Has a lot of pamphlets and brochures that are they not enough, or where do you propose to have it there? Or
well, the information centre isn't open, as you can appreciate, a lot of the time. So when it's open, it's great, but it's only open, particularly in winter, it's pretty much closed most of the time. And we will certainly talk with Hazel as well, because we'd like to have as much information, obviously, as possible. You'll have seen, I think, Megs, you've been forwarded a draft proposal of what?
Yeah.
Just a map, but that's obviously still in draft and needs quite a lot of tweaking. And one of the things that we've also, just in discussion today, we've discovered, and that's something I've known NASB for a long time, wasn't aware, that the trees that were planted in the wreck, was anyone aware why they were planted, or?
in the wreck?
In the wreck.
Around it.
Yeah.
It's a war memorial or something, was it?
They were in.
yeah, Eric said that they represent so it's native, there's they're native to each country of the miners
That were,
which is something that I never knew, and this stuff needs to be.
And so we thought what we'd like to do is use both sides of the board. The one would be visually so that people coming into the town could see, and the back side of it, use it for something like that. So it would be an information on some of the historical stuff of NASB. Yeah, there we go. We've all learned something today.
Yeah. Well, Janice's partner Billy Dixon was the first European male born, and great-grandfather second first European male born, and my great-grandfather second European male born in NASB.
Wow.
I thought I would have known that.
There's a huge amount of history.
Huge.
We're not putting a sign up for that, though.
Big tree.
Tree's yours.
Oh, the big one right beside the toilet.
We'll put it down the end of Reed Road.
Yeah. But there is a huge history in NASB.
Yeah. And it's very untapped. There's a few historic houses that have got stuff like the old BNZ Bank. There's lots of projects we could get onto for NASB, but we thought this is one that's been in the pipeline for a wee while.
So whereabouts you're talking about putting the sign at the wreck, or
To the left of the toilet and the pavilion. in that
Yeah.
gap. There's a tree, there's a, bench and behind there, because, yeah, anywhere else, right along, obviously when the cricket's on, there's cars parked all the way along there. It has to be safe for people to stand outside and be able to have a look at.
On that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the old gate used to be.
Not where the driveway is, but to the right, maybe beside the pavilion, and there's a huge, beautiful big tree there. As one thought, if anyone's got a better idea, we
What
are
about,
open.
what about round by between the pub and the museum and the shops? With that bit of grass is in there, where isn't there a real estate sign there or something? I don't know, but the Navy
Oh.
Vision Group will be able to tell you through that, won't they?
Yes, I do know that one. That is on, that's Phil's property, isn't it? Is that, did
I
that
don't
belong
know,
to?
I think
Phil
it is
Flanagan.
Phil's property. It's just, we thought that anything past there, because what we've seen is people just drive. They don't even go further
Always
there,
looking for a
like,
toilet.
Yeah.
You find the loos and the sign will be just there.
yeah.
Which are going to be upgraded in the next couple of years.
That would be awesome. Yes, I would.
Quite large too. Is that the plan?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you got a rough sort of size or?
Yeah, what was it, a 2.5, 2.4 by 1.2, oh, some
Something like
building,
that, kind of.
yeah,
Mm.
it's quite big, but we have to check the building consent. If we need.
I've got another question, but it's not to do with the application.
Okay.
Obviously, there's all the awareness of solar farms being in the region.
Mhm.
And Naseby Vision, which you're a part of, is a group that come to us doing exactly what you're doing today.
Yeah.
I have talked to Adair, is it? Adair?
Yes, I do.
I
That chairperson
Yeah.
at the moment.
About, whether Naseby Vision had an opinion, or people within the community had an opinion, because clearly over time, those things are gonna start coming together, the rivers are gonna meet. And it is, if you haven't, I would suggest that as a group, people might, before or against, we'll have those conversations, will come to the table one
Discussion
day,
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I might get topical one way or the other.
Yeah.
You might.
Well, but I mean, if the discussions have been had, everyone's not gonna get a surprise one way or the other, if things start heating up.
Yeah, we mentioned.
We can, yeah.
That's me.
Just
Anyone
yeah,
else?
list all the sports and stuff on there and facilities and
Yes, yeah,
that's a great idea.
yeah, just to show people that there's so much,
Mm.
actually, that you can do if you want to do something in Naseby.
It might be a really good place too, looking at when the forest is closed, to
Yes,
have something hanging from that, so that is a very central point,
yeah,
because there's a lot of confusion around that.
Well, we want to be made, it needs to be on there, that actually the forest is a working forest.
Mm.
And we're very privileged to use it when it is open, but we need to be mindful of that, very much so.
Mm.
But yeah, it's not just the swimming hole in the pub, but there's a historical walk again when and we wondered if we could put QR codes on it to maybe access the likes of the historical walks. So an information centre isn't open, but we can access that, or people can access that.
There's like geocaching too up there, isn't there?
I know, I bumped into somebody in Naseby the other day, they were up the Duke Street step. I didn't realise there was one there, I said, you've been to the cemetery.
Keep the
Yeah.
kids love it. That could
Did
be
you
something to
get
put on your
no,
geocache.
no idea.
I can take a bit there. It's great.
Probably might be nice to have one on the sign,
Yeah, yeah,
because then people will see.
Drawn to there, that's a good idea. Yeah.
yes.
Anything else?
Right.
No, that's all good.
Sound all right?
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that it?
That's us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Could I have someone move the minutes of the previous meeting as a true and correct record, please?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Let's do it. Okay, second to Mark Harris. All those in favour? Aye, against? Very good. Mind members at any time if they feel they have a conflict of interest to please speak up. Janice. Hey today, all right?
Great.
No one annoying you? Not yet. Well, we can work on that.
So I'm presenting this report on behalf of Ellie Mason. This is the funding application. And the only application that is in is for Naseby Vision for their signage project. I met with them this morning and we looked at some sites and various things. So while the information you've got in your report about the signage and the size and the location, that will be subject to change. But let's get down to the report, the grants. So Naseby Vision have applied for $2,500 this round. The last round they were given $2,500 to help kick this project off, but they need some more funding so that they know they've got enough to complete the project before they move on any further. There is sufficient money in your budget round on your report. It shows you what you've given, and there's still $2,500 sitting in there that's not committed for your 2023-24 year. The only thing I would say, if this grant is going to be given, that it be subject to for uplift, that it be conditional upon any consent requirements and council staff approval for the location, size and design of the signage. The sign would be possibly going on the reserve, which that is one of the reasons it may attract resource consent, but they've just said that they're going to put some historic information on the sign as well. But I think it would be wise to tag it so that we can make sure that the sign is appropriate and covers off what it needs to cover off correctly.
Few things in the right place.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the toilet, straight applicants.
Yeah, so oh no, you're not there. There's the toilets there.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is
I can see that.
pretty small. Okay.
Mark might be able to, but.
Yeah, initially they wanted to put it right in front of the toilets and we said, no, it's too big. It's not going to go there. It'll go on this corner, the corner of Avoca and Derwent Street on an angle.
Yeah.
So there's a park bench and there's a rubbish bin. So we had a walk around the village today to just
That's the right place.
to try and find, is it the right place, is it the wrong place? And we kept coming back to this one because they are absolutely right. People come into the village, they find a toilet and then they turn around and toddle back off again, which surprises me because from the toilet you can see the buildings and things. They do tend to do that. So,
there's awful lot of Naseby you can't see unless you actually go there too. So.
yes, and I pointed out to them that there are fingerboards pointing to the general store and things, but they re-looked again at their why. Why are they doing this? And
they have got support from Naseby Vision, the rest of the group?
Yes, yeah, it is one of the identified projects that they want to do.
Cool.
And
what if it would come on footpath to the road reserve?
Sorry?
What if they brought it forward to the edge of the road reserve and the road reserve would make a difference to consent? The footpath?
No, I doubt it. It would obstruct. It would be a nuisance on the footpath. We're trying to encourage people to walk on the footpath and not the road and yeah. Don't really want to walk around.
More cars people the street, really.
Oh, tell me that, yeah.
That's all.
So we would suggest that the resolution could be allocates $2,500 to Naseby Vision for Naseby Town sign from the promotions grant budget in the 2023-24 financial year. The grant will be subject to meeting consent requirements and council staff approval of the location, size and design.
I'll move the recommendation. Amended recommendation.
I just, one other.
Yes.
On the other side of the road, there used to be a notice board.
Yes, now we had a meeting this morning with the Athenaeum chair who was adamant that they didn't want it on that section because they don't want 2 signs on the section and they want to retain the notice board. As is their right, I guess. It's a community notice
Yeah,
board.
it's a community notice board, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was one of the sites that Naseby Vision would have quite liked, but it hasn't gone that way.
So they don't want to combine the notice board.
No,
wouldn't they?
not, it would be really big,
Mainly.
be really big.
Yep, that's right.
And they keep gravitating back over to the toilet because that's where people pull in.
Yeah.
And it's visual, it's where the rubbish bin is,
Mm.
it's, there's a big tree on the corner and I checked today, the tree's not, identified in the district plan as a notifiable tree. So if it was a notable tree, we'd have to be careful about, putting it within the drip line, which is where the leaves extend out to.
Right.
So, but there is space in there, even if we've got to bring it forward, there is adequate space in there and it won't interfere with our stormwater going off the toilet into a soak pit. So I know where those lines are, so.
Very good. So Stu's moved that. We accept that. You'll. No,
You'll
you're
second
second,
it?
Stu, sorry.
I'll move it. I'm just second it.
You're second, please.
No.
Duncan Howell, all those in favour?
Aye.
All right, against?
Carried.
Thank you, James. Tim,
Well, this is going to be, I might take longer than that. I haven't been here for a couple of meetings. I was in Queenstown. And at the time of your last meeting, I had a meeting with the Minister of Local Government. So there's not anything that did precedence over the MCV, but I had to at that time. Since then, though, I've attended a Ranfurly Business Breakfast, and that group's going from strength to strength. And it's excellent to go to such positive go-ahead meetings. I see the format's changed to late afternoon meetings, which might be a bit more challenging to make, but I'll still do my best to get there when I can. I sit as LGNZ's National Council representative for south of the Waitaki, so a couple of months ago now I joined the President, Sam Broughton, and the CEO, Susan Freeman-Green, on a road trip around Zone 6, which is basically everyone south of the Waitaki except Waitaki in that case. So met the chairs, mayors, councillors, QLDC, CODC, DCC, ORC, Clutha, and the Cargill Environment Southland, so she was a fairly big trip. Really good to hear from other councillors from across the south, and essentially we're all in the same boat. Nobody had anything to report other than their own individual takes on what we're all facing. March the 1st, I was at LGNZ's National Council meeting. As part of that, we decided to make Arcona, which is the LGNZ training and education tool, part of membership fees for next year. It's actually available now. It's been opened up to everyone as of now. So I really encourage people to have a look at it. It's got some fantastic tools in it, and you can do stuff where it will show you your strengths and your weaknesses and your knowledge and take you to where you need to go. So I've enjoyed playing around with it. Peter and Vincent, Councillor Tamer Ali, and I attended the Zone 5 and 6, which is the South Island Conference in Christchurch, a few more than a couple of weeks ago now. Tamer's actually been elected as the Zone 6 chair. My brother stood down from that role, and she got elected by her peers and is the only non-mayor or non-regional councillor chair to hold a zone chair role in the country, as far as I'm aware. So it's a big congratulations to her. Shows how she's regarded by members of neighbouring councils as much as her own. Guest speakers, we heard from Chris Bishop, Minister Mark Patterson, the chairman of Ngāi Justin Tipa, Minister of Local Government, Simeon Brown, joined us for dinner that night. So it was a really good opportunity to get in front of and have talks and hear from leaders in the new government primarily. We've got some funding through the government, through Mayor's Task Force for Jobs, which is focused on getting young people into sustainable employment. So if you know of anyone in the community aged between 16 and 24 who's not in employment, education or training, let me know, because we've now got a coordinator and they will throw everything at getting that person past, that school stage to sitting in employment and staying in employment. Also looking for potential employers. In some cases, we know people and heard of people, they would employ this kid, but for, they haven't got their driver's license or they need kit or something like that. We can help in that regard too. So please let me know. Attended and spoke at the very enjoyable Maniototo Trust 50th anniversary long lunch. I've stopped in and visited some folk concerned about the proposed solar farm on the way to that. And obviously a lot of time in the last month or two has been on the horrors of the annual plan. But as part of that, it was a really, really enjoyable drop in here in this room, discussing the reasons behind the rates rises and what, if anything, can be done now and into the future, alongside broad discussions on all things Central Otago. It was probably a couple of the best hours I've ever had with Mayor, actually. Great. That's me. Anyone's got any questions? Otherwise,
If you want to talk about that emergency meeting yesterday, is that cool?
can do. So council's got an executive committee that is there when things need to be done quick and you can't bring everyone together. And on Friday, QLDC asked QLDC staff to do an appeal against a regional council decision on the PORPS, proposed operating regional policy statement. I think I've got that near enough to write.
Partially operative.
Partially operative. The guts of the thing is that where ORC has gone will not even allow us to put in a resource consent application for consideration into the future for discharging wastewater to water bodies, which not even to be able to discuss it is beyond the pale. Even iwi had, sorry, I shouldn't say, take the even off that. Iwi had in their submission that there may be circumstances where it's not appropriate to deny discharge to water. They would be few and far between, but they had the door opening, and ORC have gone a step further than that. So we needed to make a very urgent decision whether to join it. It is political, it has political ramifications. So Stu sits on the executive committees, the mayor, the deputy mayor, and a councillor from each ward that the deputy mayor's not from. So that winds up being Sally, Tamer, and Stu, myself and Neil. So we voted to join that appeal, and that was on the paper yesterday. Where it goes from there, well, we'll wait and see. Only on piece. And I happened to have a informal catch up with the ORC councillors this morning, so I'd already read it in the paper as well. But they were fine. They said that we need to work this out. That's one of the places to work it out.
Yeah.
When they just say discharging to water.
Yeah.
Just like into a river or a stream or a creek. So like down at Rainford here where it goes
To land.
into land.
Mm.
That's the ultimate.
Yeah, sweet.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Even that creek that runs past it.
That's all.
Well, there is some touchiness with putting it into land right next to a water body, you know. But at the moment for Alexandra, really, really rough figure to transfer Alexandra to land-based disposal is 110 million.
Well, I'm getting 60, isn't it? 4600? 60?
Yeah, so
GP, you'll know that? Taking the water from Omacare treatment there up to the golf course is about 63 million for Omacare.
but that's one where I think we've got a choice.
Oh, it may well be, but the treatment, of course, is now that the bottle you nearly can drink. In some cases, it goes back into the reticulation system.
Not here.
Not here, but that's the opposite. You know, somewhere along the line, if you have to treat it to that level, then it can go to water. But that's the debate that has to be had.
Yeah, where that debate goes is one of the biggest things facing the council. We get 21% rates rise this year on average. We have to start doing that. It's huge. I don't know how we do it.
So, yeah. So we're getting at the stage where you had one plant like an Alex and you just about pipe it from Overkill.
Well, those options, look.
What those options are, they're not that, but it's an awful long way.
Yeah.
And Alex's problem is it's an awful long way from the treatment plant at the moment to where the best site is for land, and it's uphill. So, and look, we haven't looked at it. I think we haven't decided where it's going to go, but we don't know if we've got to do it yet. But the direction of travel is we will, and if this port stays in place, then that's probably that.
And one of the EVs that Tate was talking about in the North Island has got a 35-year consent to treat the treated water to
Cambridge and
Waikato River.
Support,
So it's just a matter of going to
and regional council have signed off on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do there, and this is just part of it. Rather sort it out through Cordial rather than go to court, but we don't have a choice, and it seemed unfair for QLDC to be fighting the fight on their own.
Yeah. Because there's sewage plants down at the
Shot over.
where does it go?
So they
It does, they treat it there.
core.
Shot over, right?
Then the shot over, doesn't it? Does the fill go into like one thing will go into the quarry? The quarry shot over next quarry, isn't it? Or
Yeah, it's right on. It's right on the
Yeah, then it must go this way, the water,
Yeah.
will flow both ways, I guess.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Water doesn't go out the Kingston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes that way. Comes out.
Challenges.
Right, thank you, Tim. Have someone move to
I'll do.
Stu, second please. Garris, all those in favour? Aye, against? Carried, thank you. Me, had a quick catch up last week with the guys doing the wastewater work. They're getting along quite well. They haven't had too many dramas. Just a few locals moving cones and driving around the wrong way around roads. They've been quite good. A quick walk around for half an hour around a few streets in Rankley this morning for a lady, pointing out to everything that was wrong. No giveaway signs on. I just talked to QP about it down these streets here on Thomas Street and Butte Street and there, but there are uncontrolled intersections, so you give way to your right, is that right, correct? Yep, by the road code, no street lights over the top of the, but on the same side as the pass. I did say, could you not take a torch when you walk at night? I think that was a good idea.
The other side of the street.
Yeah, well, the street lights are on that side and the pass are on that
Yeah.
side. I never noticed. You not walk at night or?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Sometime? That's right. Most of us were at Anzac, pretty well attended, I thought. Probably around a couple hundred people, 150 to 200 people. But I caught up with Stu and Tim at the meeting about the rate rises. A few other people around the town, a lot of people unhappy, but there's not a lot we can do about it. It's I don't like it at the moment, it's just all over the countryside. But quick catch up with Paul Hart the other day because there's been a bit of moaning about the trees getting cut down beside the adventure park, isn't it? Right. You're one of them, aren't you?
One that complains.
Because they've shut it down and they did a site visit at the moment. Name David Grant. David, was the guy in charge. I wasn't talking to him. But as he said, the forest own all that land through there, and the trees are coming down regardless. But they must have come to an arrangement with the adventure park. They're not going to go as close as they were intending to. But, a bit of bloody talk about that and a couple of phone calls. What's his name? David? No. Who's in charge? Buddy?
John
John Grant. He must be talking to Paul, that meeting before. Right, plenty of people talking about the solar farm. It's gone to consent hearing, I gather. Wait and see what they say, whether it's a notifiable consent, is that the right word? Is it a notifiable consent? The solar farm?
Yes, it's likely to be publicly notified, correct.
Yes, they're deciding what, do they have to decide whether it is a notifiable consent or not?
So when it comes in, it's looked at in terms of the Resource Management Act and the district plan, and it's around who are affected parties or whether the council determine there are any adverse effects. So this is one that I would suggest is highly likely to be notified.
Right, I got a heap of information sent to me. I think I sent it to all you. You'll get some information about the email.
Not believe it. Thanks, one, I haven't got the information.
There's two in there. Obviously, the money.
A real estate agent this morning came and see me about if we knew there's 50 hectares for the solar farm.
50 hectares isn't enough according to this place. So there's been a fair bit of talk. I met with that group again and we just wait to see what happens now. We're all two of us at the community trust dinner. Very good day. Afternoon. Even Stu spoke very, very well, Stu, didn't you?
But Judy, I told him, well, that was very funny.
And I've had
Fine. Funny looking.
And I had a couple of phone discussions with Brian Parker about some dogs wandering around. People sending me photos about a certain dog. They think it's the wrong dog. What colour's the dog? Do you know?
Well, it's not a dog to start with.
Yeah, we don't
There's a
know.
black one, there's a white one. The black one was in my section the other day and he left rather rapidly.
Right.
The white one was been seen in other sections. I think he was the one chasing the sheep, wasn't he, the white one?
Don't know.
However,
Right, there's a pup or something.
yesterday there was the dog was backed into a certain driveway.
Yeah,
And I couldn't hang around long enough to see whether he actually took a dog or not.
he told me he was coming to get a dog.
Oh, well,
Was that opposite you?
Yeah.
I wasn't up the other side.
it might have been up the other side, but I saw him on sitting there.
You can't just take a dog to Sainsbury. You can't just. Louise, it's got a,
So if a dog is worrying stock, a farmer can shoot it. We can't just go and take a dog off the property. But if we can pick it up if it's wandering, but we can't take it from its own property.
yeah, they say his dog in question, it says it has to have a muzzle on it when it's out of its section. And I'm not sure what dog it is. Because he's been getting photos of the dog sent to him, he reckons it's the wrong dog.
So if it's classified as menacing or dangerous,
Yeah.
we need to be wearing a muzzle. And if it breaches that, we can address it.
Yeah.
But it's making sure that it is the correct dog
Yes.
and we have been through the right process to classify it.
Yeah, that what he explained to me a couple of weeks ago was that you just can't go and you've got to work through the process and get it right, because otherwise you end up with the egg on your face with the wrong dog or something. So.
If it's dangerous and menacing, why are they allowed to keep it?
Because we
He
have
said
to
there's
comply with the dog control act.
a way you can do it. But I don't know.
And it's.
It's innocent other people while it's on the properties.
Is that national? Law?
It is national. And so, for example, if a dog nips a child, it might be classified as menacing. It might be one-off situation and not enough, like it gives a poke or something. Because any dog, as we know, can react. So it's a matter of looking at the behaviours, looking at what's happened, look at the responsibility owner, the likelihood of it happening again, measures put in place, all of that, and complying with the act and going through a process before we classify it. But if it is a serious incident, we can prosecute, but we have to go through the court process. So yes, it's following the dog control act.
All he said to me, if anyone sees it, take a photo of it, send it to him, or video, and get it to him so he can do something about it, because it can't leave the property without a muzzle. And as I said, if it bites someone without a muzzle, it's too late.
Well, it shouldn't be able to leave the property without the owner either, should it?
No.
Which dog is it?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Those are a load of shit, aren't they? Well, excuse my French, but if the damn thing's dangerous and menacing, and it can leave the section without its owner, where the hell are we?
Yeah, well, the photo I got was the owner had the dog on a lead, but the dog didn't have the muzzle on. No, that's the one I sent to Ryan, and he thought it might be the right dog.
I saw him leading one time. It was a black and tan dog, so we're getting into this. Really. At least there's more than one there.
Well, I think he's got rid of a couple.
Now we have four.
I think some of them are gone. He's rehomed a couple. Ryan's rehomed a couple of them. But,
I'll just encourage if anyone has any concerns to, again,
Yeah.
make contact with council through and ask for dog control and just raise those.
yeah, everyone who's come to me, I'll give them Ryan's phone number and say, talk to this man and make a complaint. But, and that's me. Yep. No other questions? Good, thank you. Let's move that report be accepted. What is that? Second, please. Harris, all those in favour? Aye, against? Very thank you. Members' reports. Who wants to go first?
Mine's pretty short. Yeah, I attended that trust fund thing. As I say before, I noticed the dog man doing his job yesterday. Not a lot else, to be fair. Come over the Styx Bridge yesterday and had another wee look at that on the way home. That was about it.
Did Drew ring you about it? Did he?
No, we had a bit of a yarn about it, just made me bring a cup of tea, but it wasn't. He just asked what we're gonna do about it. I said, we're gonna close it and make him use the light bulb. Didn't find a lot of favour with it.
Funny that.
No, that's about me.
Becky.
Me, I don't have too much either. Apart from great to see that we're back off their red teardrop for our water, which also means that our fire danger's down to nothing. So it's great for the visitors. It means that the rec area in the forest in Naseby is open, and over the school holidays it was really busy. Lots of families around. We had some stunning weather, and Naseby was pumping with the families, as was the rail trail for about the first week. But it is now dropped to pretty much nothing. You don't really see any mini bites on the trail. So businesses are definitely feeling the pinch in the last couple of weeks. This sort of stopped, but that always happens. Yeah, roadworks are done down the main street, which is cool because it caused a little bit of chaos for the elderly, especially with parking and getting up, especially outside the Fourth Square. There were a lot of complaints about the ability to get into the Fourth Square and then into parking because it is such a high curve as well. So a lot of elderly don't actually use that front of it. They like to sort of park around the side, and it was all blocked off, obviously. So, but it can't be helped, and it's all done now. So that is cool. Another terrible, like you said before, Stu, around the stadium down there, the ramp. It is quite a trip hazard. I personally haven't heard of anyone that has tripped over down there, but it increases from quite a small lip to quite a high lip leading up to the first aid room, isn't it? And it's a good 6 inches maybe. Same, it wasn't like a ramp the whole way down. So just to ease that up, but it's well lit and that kind of thing. It's just picky little stuff, but it has been mentioned. Yeah, and I just had someone talk to me about from the Naseby campground, just down that road, the stormwater issue down there. I don't know what street it is, so I didn't look it up. But it's just got all the rocks piled on the side of the road. And they were questioning because obviously it goes up to the campground, it goes up to the swimming dam. It's a very narrow road, and then you've got the rocks on the one side for the stormwater. And the people that bike and walk in that up there, they're just questioning, like, is it worth looking at doing something to that to create the road to be a bit wider for a path that leads up there? They live up that road themselves, and they're so concerned it's going to get because the 30k sign is actually past the campground. Go up to the water.
Birmingham Road.
Birmingham Road, thank you. So they said the cars, obviously they do slow down when they go up the hill, but to get to that point, it's very narrow, rocks on one side, there's kids and bikes, so they're not going to bike on the rocks. Some might, but these are, and they're just, wondering if they can be looked at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just made a note, so
Yeah.
have a look at it.
Yeah. That'd be cool. And that's pretty much it.
Have you had any more discussions about the turf in the meetings or?
They're still waiting on the Ministry of
So what-
Education,
That's right.
but I will chase it up for the next meeting and maybe get Sarah even to come. I don't know, she might have more information.
Oh, yeah, it's just the timeline as we talked about the last meeting, what their
Yeah.
timeline on when they need money, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Ministry, yeah.
Very good. Right, thank you, Becky. Duncan.
I've pretty much got nothing really. Only things I've been to lately is the Anzac Day parade. It was a good turnout just next door here. And the one at Pettirar was a 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it was a good turnout there too. And that's me, really.
Thank you.
Stu,
Yeah, I haven't got much either. Drop-in session, that was quite good, and amazing how many people you don't know in your community when you sit down. So, you know, you got to always keep that in mind that you think you know a lot of people in your community and you go to things and it's the same groups that you've known for the last 20 years and the community's made up of a lot more different people and you'll see that as a hairdresser. There's a lot of people, and even two ladies there from Asian Vision, I've never met them before in my life, we've seen them. So it's great to see people getting involved in the community, who aren't just the normal, and they're involved in volunteer groups as well. Went to the meeting with Tim and Haz and Harry at the Trust. Went to Anzac Day. I went to the three of them, the first time I'd done the whole three of them. And Peter and I laid the wreath out here with Robert. And then I went to Pateroa, Dunk, and then went to Turuhua. And the Turuhua was an unveiling of a rock, which they call, get the name of the corner there, Soldier's Corner on the Domain. And then we went down and laid the wreath at all the photos on the board down at the hall. And Peter said a few words, and it was really quite cool to sort of spend the morning and an afternoon with Peter. Then we went over and had a beer with the locals at the pub, and you know, Anzac Day to him means a lot, and to him talk about some of the battlefields he'd been to in Europe and that, you know, and then just going through all different hats and which regiment they were in. It was really quite cool. I really enjoyed that day. And then just to be in the Turuhua was so different. They unveiled a rock and an oak tree, and then one of the oak trees, original oak trees they got was a Turkish oak. And then someone said, we can't have that because they fought against the Turks, so they had to take it back and get another type of oak, you know. So there's all those many stories, and Trevor Beck was talking about it. It was all humour, but it was like, you know, the naivety of it. It was really quite cool, and it was a great day in the tree. The sun was shining, and they walked down there, so it was cool to do that. Our fire truck that we've been trying so hard, Willie down and rang me last night to say that it's about a week away, so that's really cool. And the Target Community Trust gave us $20,000 the other day. It's got it over the line, so we may not have to go to all of the people that have pledged money. But the other argument to that is to get it all spooked up and have everything state of the art on that we need to is really, really cool. Council, yeah, it's been some heavy lifting in the last couple of months up there. And there's going to, I might say a bit of tension, but there's going to be a lot of work about this common wall. And I'm going to say, I'm not saying we're fractured in council now, but man, there's been some pretty hard lines drawn in the sand. And that's a part of the decision making we do. We've had it with the representation review, and we're going to do the digitisation later on. But you know, the hall and the mall are the big ticket items that ultimately do have an effect on our ratepayer base over here if they're wrong, or even if they're right. But it's been a pretty tough gig, and some of the smiles and the sense of humour that used to be there.
oh, it's still pretty good.
They're still pretty good, but it's been pretty tough, and it's tough on some of them too, especially some of those common people, because they seem to feel that they've been in the gun all the way through. But that's what we do. And other than that, yeah, business is pretty tight everywhere around. Rail trail's buttoned right off, but like in our situation out there, there's a hunt club this weekend, and there's other things come along, hopefully, that fill that gap. But that's about it. So, yeah. Any questions? I'm done.
All right, thank you. Could I have someone move those reports, please? Duncan Howe, Stephen Becky McCauley, all those in favour, aye, against? Carried, thank you. Governance report.
For the study report.
Oh, I can't go back. Yep. Yep.
That will close, won't it?
Mm.
That one, follow up, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, it was over there.
Yeah, there,
That's the they wanted a clump, but we said no, that's closed. June. Closed it.
mm,
No.
okay, I'll check on that one.
Yeah.
I've got it. Yeah, that one hold.
Yep.
Okay.
there, there isn't.
Can I have someone move those that government report, please?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Second to Mark Harris. All those in favour? Against? Carried, thank you. Right, the date of our next meeting is the Wednesday, the 5th of June, annual plan hearings.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun, Becky. You'll enjoy that. I presume it's a 2 o'clock start?
Normal start time.
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
And it just depends on what we do.
Hopefully, might have been a wee touch of side or something.
Yeah, I'm hoping that my surgery's about to end.
You see, it's Wednesday, Becky.
I know.
Thursday.
Messes with me.
It's all right.
You can be an apology.
With your attendance today and declare your meeting closed.
That could be a good day for me to be under the old.
No, Karen, just back to point,
Very
end
well,
on.
Ryan, so-